Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's take a walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Thanks a bunch for stopping by, I do appreciate it. Today's beer comes from the Bruery, and this is the first can that I've had from those guys. So now they're canning some of their stuff. They are famous for doing these great big 750 milliliter bottles. I do appreciate them doing the canned versions of stuff now, because unless you're entertaining 3 or 4 people, you don't need a 750 milliliter bottle. That's going to be expensive to buy in that quantity and that size. A nice 12 or 16 ounce is enough for one and maybe two people to try the beer. So I do appreciate this size that they're doing now. This is called the Bakery from the Bruery, and according to the can here, it says on the front, Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels with coconut and natural vanilla flavor added. I'm not a big fan of flavors that are added, whether they're natural or artificial. I think you can get everything you need in a beer from doing different types of malt and hops, and a lot of times they add coffee or vanilla or coconut and all that. I do appreciate it is natural instead of artificial, because it makes the beer taste artificial to me. But I'm not sure how I'm going to grade this beer yet, guys. I don't like a lot of flavors added to the beer. I want that to come from the barrels and the malt and the hops. So, just me though. This is a big beer, guys. This is a 13%er. Final beer of the evening for me. This comes to me by the way of Rico, my brother Rico, and he writes on this one, 13% barrel-aged Imperial Stout blended with a pastry Imperial Stout with coconut and vanilla added. Purchased a few days ago, and it was $9. Sold in singles. Packaged on 8/30/18, and today is 11/16, so you can do the math there. 9, 10, 11. And not quite 3 months in the can. I don't know how long it was in the barrels. He says it looks like they're canning some of the beers. Yeah, well, that's evident there. He was at the store where he purchased this and saw their mischief beer also in cans. So they're starting to do some canned versions of their tasty beers, and that's a good thing. I do appreciate that. I like the smaller size, and so those great big 750 milliliter bottles, it's up in the $20 and $30 ranges. You almost have to be entertaining, because it's almost at 13%. It's almost too much for 2 people to drink a 750. Now, if you've got 3 or 4 people, that'll work out fine. But I'm not usually entertaining 4 people at the same time, and it is what it is, guys. I like a smaller package for 1 or 2 people, instead of a big 750 milliliter bottle that you're going to pay an arm and a leg for, and you don't have 4 people to share it with. On this particular beer, being a 13%er, this is probably one you would want to drink at home. If you're not, make sure you have a designated driver, guys. 13% beer, probably enough if you went through a road check, a DUI checkpoint, or something like that to get you into trouble. Just drink responsibly. I usually try to mention that when we get to these monster beers like this. And I would probably never drink a beer of this magnitude out if I was driving. So just be aware of that. Drink responsibly. We don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to hurt any innocent people. So with that being said, let's get on with it here, guys. We're going to jump over to Untapped. And it's exactly the same thing written here as I just read off the letter from Rico. So we don't have the IBUs, but we know it's a monster beer at 13%. And once again, final beer of the evening for me. So let's get it on. 16-ounce can. Looks like it's got a shrunk wrap label on it, which is a good thing instead of having a high dollar printed up can. We're going to go down the center on this one, it being 13%. And that's how we're going to go, because we already got up to about a finger of head on this one, maybe a tad more. Over into the light, guys, I'm not seeing any at all. It is pitch black. Good looking stout in the glass. Very nice. Nice khaki colored head. Little tight bubbles all the way around. There's a few bigger bubbles on the top, but it looks very creamy. So, to the nose we go. Nice bourbon barrel notes. I am getting those. Excellent. Roasted malt. And I was just poured in the glass. I mean, it hasn't opened up. It's not come up to room temperature or anything like that. So the roasted malt and the bourbon is standing out more than anything else. And the more it sets in the glass and warms up and opens up, the more of those other aromas, chocolate, vanilla, coconut, are probably going to come out. But right now, I'm smelling bourbon and I'm smelling roasted malt. So let's get it to the lips. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. Wow. Super tasty, super sweet. A little bit of coconut, a little bit of vanilla. Awesome beer. Absolutely awesome. And I really am digging the size of this container instead of being a great big 750 milliliter. Enough for me to do the beer review and let her taste it 2 or 3 times, and you're not pouring 2 16-ounce glasses and everybody's inebriated after they've drank it. Wow, that is delicious, guys. For 13% of the alcohol is fairly well hidden. It is there, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you drink Budweiser or Bud Light or Miller Lite, Coors, and you've never had anything like this, and you pour this, it's going to blow your head off your shoulders. It's going to be boozy. It's going to be, oh my God, that's the nastiest thing I ever tasted. But if you're used to drinking a nice bourbon barrel stout, you're going to like this probably. You are. So let's do the back end pour instead of me flapping my gums anymore. And we're going to let this come up to room temperature, and we're going to sip on it for a little bit, share this a little bit, and we'll come back and do that final chug thing that we always do. Alright guys, I'm back. I've been sipping on it for a while. Very surprised with the lacing that's left on the glass. Usually don't get that with these big monster beers like this. But this one left very nice lacing on the glass. Nice sweetness from it. I am getting the vanilla, and the coconut's a little subdued on this. And I expect that. I'm actually surprised I'm getting any vanilla at all when they put it in the bourbon barrel. So I'm getting bourbon, roasted malt, hints of vanilla. This coconut is very subdued. You have to look for it, but it's there. Canned on date on the bottom. The ABV is on the front of the can. A very tasty beer, guys. Tastes like it's got some lactose in it to me. It has a very nice sweetness to the back end. Very easy drinking for a 13%. But it's not an outstanding beer to me, guys. I've had better beers. I'm real surprised with what I've got here. I would probably buy this beer if I could get it here. But it's a little on the pricey side, being a 13% or barrel aged. You're going to pay more for those. And I'm on the fence right now, guys. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's a 10 beer. I'm not going to give it a 10, but I'm on the fence between an A minus and an A beer here on this one, guys. It is a well-made beer, and I do appreciate them going to the smaller container, so it makes it easier drinking for one or two people instead of having a great big monster beer bottle that's usually enough for 3 or 4 people instead of just 2. The other half liked it. She thought it was very enjoyable. She was getting the bourbon notes and the roasted malt, but not the vanilla or the coconut. You almost have to look for those 2 qualities on this beer. But it is a very sweet beer. So I can, like I said, I would pretty much guarantee, I'm not sure, but I'm just saying, tastes like it's had lactose added to the beer for the sweetness that I'm getting on the back end here. So, enjoyable beer. A great final beer of the evening. Very enjoyable. I do appreciate the 16-ounce size instead of the monster size. Final chug. Everything seems to be blended fairly well. I did enjoy it. It's a very nice, tasty, monster bourbon barrel aged beer. But I don't think it's a 10. Since they've got the ABV on the can and the can on date on the bottom, I am going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give it an A. 95, right down the middle of the A group. And I'm probably giving them a big benefit of the doubt on this one, because there are a lot of people like this beer and a lot of people not too impressed with this beer. Over to Beer Advocate, they have it at 4.17 in their exceptional range, but that's a little on the low numbers there, guys. That's their A minus range to me. And over to Untapped for the final check-in, they have it at 4.15. Again, the same thing. A minus numbers from those guys. So I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. I did enjoy it. And the biggest thing that I can say is I appreciate the smaller size in the can. That's why I'm giving it the solid A, 95 for me. Because it's in the can, smaller package, less money, ABV on the can, canned on date on the bottom. So that's why I'm giving it that. Very easy drinking for a 13%er. But it's an enjoyable beer. That's why I'm giving it the grade that I'm giving it. I did enjoy this. I like a nice, well-made 13%. I mean, you don't need anything bigger than that in an Imperial Stout or a bourbon barrel aged stout. Once you get into that 15, 17, 20%, and there's some people that do that, Avery and some of the others, that's over the top. That's excessive. Why do you need a 21 or 23% Imperial Stout? That's like drinking liquor. That is not something you would want to drink other than being at home. Trust me. One of these beers, is probably enough to get a DUI in Virginia. Just one. 16-ounce can at 13%. That's more than 2 beers in one can. And in Virginia, it's 0.08. So you go through a DUI checkpoint drinking one of these, you're probably going to be in trouble unless you're very good at getting through those things. So I would never drink this big of a beer out unless I was at home. I just don't do it anymore, guys. It's not worth it. I don't do it. So drink responsibly. It's great beer. It is a great beer. It's not an A beer to me. A plus or a 10 beer for me, but it is an A beer. That's what I'm going to give it. 95. So if you've had this one, guys, let me know what you think. A great final beer of the evening to have at home. And that's what I'm doing. So if you've had this one, the bakery from the Bruery, An American Imperial or Double Stout, 13%, bourbon barrel aged. Very impressive, very nice, very easy drinking, but big beer. Until we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.